So then just first, why did you decide to run? Or in your case, why did you decide to run for re-election?
So I decided to run for re-election for one reason. I wasn't going to run because that my mom was sick with cancer. And so we got a really good report, and her cancer is doing much better than it was in the part of 2021. So she's gone through chemo. She's now going through radiation, and she's gone from it being in 4 different areas to just one location. And so we were prayerful about it, and so I decided I'd go ahead and put my name on the ballot. And I kept waiting after we got that report for a little bit to wait to see if I felt like that someone was had the experience to carry on the projects that the commissioners and myself have done for Ector County and move us forward. And I filed on the very last date because I, along with a number of other individuals in the community, felt like that they would feel like this position would be best served if I ran again.
Thank you for that. And then just this relates to what you were about to touch base. What are your plans if elected? Or in your case, what will you continue to work on, or any new things you plan to work on?
So there's a number of things that we've got working on. We very excited to say that 385 and 338, the South Loop, was originally targeted for 2028, and we have moved that up to as early as 2023. There have been a lot of fatalities in that area, and of course we've lowered our fatality rates to 23% reduction under my presiding officer at the MPO and as the county judge, because one life lost on a highway is one too many. There are a number of other projects that I can't wait to get started on, one being the maybe a new library for downtown. I'd like for it to be a family attraction. Then I'd like to maybe put together a group of leaders and community, other elected officials to try to maybe work on a sports complex for our community that will help in driving up hotel taxes and allow parents to stay here instead of traveling as far as Lubbock and the Permian Basin and down to Houston area. So those are things, along with water and infrastructure throughout the entire county.
And could you maybe just touch base on each of those, why you feel they're important, to be addressed or to be worked on?
Well, I don't know about you, but I often take a lot of field trips. So sometimes I'll just get a wild hair and I'll just jump up and decide to drive to the west side of town. And when I do that, it makes me reflect on how just within miles West Odessa sometimes looks like a third world country, that there are individuals out there that do not have water, they don't have sewer, and they don't have broadband. And so while I can sit in this office and feel very comfortable, there are individuals that don't have those amenities. And I feel like it is our duty as leaders and in my position, because I do feel like I'm a servant of the people, to make sure that they have a good quality of life.
Thank you for that, Judge. And then my next question would be, it still relates to some of the things you might mention, but anything else that you would like to add. What issues do you want to fix or improve if elected or re-elected?
Well, I think that would be the water and sewer area, along with infrastructure needs. While the county passed the assistant sales tax district, we had just begun to see some of that revenue come in to where we'd be able to actually improve roads, the law enforcement, more patrol on the beat. But then COVID hit, and now we've kind of down the downside of COVID, but you run into the supply and demand. So there are more demand for roadbed products, material to fix bridges, equipment. And so while we all have that ordered, we can't receive it as fast as what we would like to. So I think that infrastructure, broadband, and water and sewer are at the top of my list.
Thank you. And then this one, I'm going to reword it a little bit, but just how do you see yourself working with other commissioners in the court, or how have you worked with the commissioners in the court?
We are very in a lot of respects, very like-minded. But then sometimes we don't agree on things, and I think that's good because each commissioner represents a certain demographics with their constituents, but yet we, at the end of the day, always usually have the same goals, which is to make our community and our county better than it was the month before or the week before, because everything that we look at when we go through our agenda is to make your county better for you.
Thank you for that. And then what would you say sets you apart?
I think one of the things that sets me apart is my 40 years of business experience. I am the only candidate that actually has budget experience, managing large numbers of employees, and being able to negotiate contracts and to be able to visualize and communicate not for projects that are just for today, but to take those blinders off and be able to see a bright future for Ector County so that we can move forward.
Thank you for that. And then this question is very open. Feel free to add anything else you would like to add or that hasn't been mentioned.
You know, I think that my proven record of being able to make lists, share those with the constituents, and be able to mark those off the to-do list and continually add new projects and mark them off and add every single month and year has proven that I have the ability to lead and to work well with others, not just with the commissioners. For example, the city and the county just did a game room. So the hospital in Texas Tech, we have a mobile medical unit team that we're going to start using to go out into the community to help with vaccinations and with some testing. And so while sometimes it doesn't always appear that we are out and about in the community, we really are. We really are. Unfortunately, there are so many good things that we do all the time that it's hard to always toot my own horn or toot the horn for the county. But I can promise you that we're always doing what's better for the betterment of the people.
And I did just kind of think of a question here. What's one of the things that maybe you're proud of or maybe that you are really happy that you did during your term?
Oh, that would be hard because there's been so many accomplishments that have been made since I took office in 2018. You know, I think probably the infrastructure on the loop up on the north end, a light at 87th Street where we had many fatalities. The passing of the assistant sales tax district, but the judge prior to me had incurred $25 million worth of debt to enlarge the jail. But it was very quick that I learned that there probably wasn't going to be enough money there to actually hire employees for that jail. So I knew that the only way to actually move the county forward was that we had to have a different revenue stream of income. And so that was done just by sales tax. So instead of raising property taxes, we did it through a sales tax, which is a consumption tax. So for the last 3 years, we have not raised the property tax index at all. It has remained the same for the last 3 years. Your property tax rate has remained the same for 3 years. So that's kind of important because when you're at home and you're getting ready to pay your taxes or you make that mortgage payment every single month, as property taxes and your insurance goes up, it affects your house payment. And so I was very sympathetic to every single family that lives underneath a roof to try to help them in doing their budget. I didn't want to take food off the table. I wanted to be able to allow them to maintain their budget. Even if other taxing entities had to raise theirs, the county did not.